What's up, guys? Sean here with Squint Skating. So I'm doing a video, as the title would suggest. This is an overview of a piece of kit. So this is a excuse me, Dutch Long Range Patrol rucksack. Alright, so I got this because I kind of needed a new rucksack for a trip coming up that me and my buddies will do. As of late, it's been just about every 6 months for the last 2 or 3. So we've been pretty consistent with it. Up until recently, I've kind of been able to get away with running a 3-DAP for a 72-hour like mini ruck type thing going on. Just, you know, traveling ultralight and knowing what you need to cut down stuff. And just basing my kit off of what I used to carry when I would do bushcraft, very like bushcraft centric stuff growing up as a kid. But we're doing winter stuff in a much colder climate and environment than where we all kind of grew up in. So needed to be able to carry a little bit more for that sake. So I've done overnights in sub-zero temperatures, but never more than one night. So needed a little bit more room is basically what it came down to. So this is a 60-liter ruck. Also, I'm mostly doing this video for a good buddy of mine because this has some features on it that he likes, and he's trying to figure out if he wants to get one or not. So this video is dedicated to you, big sexy. So anyways, Dutch DPM camo, it's kind of their equivalent of M81 Woodland. I like it, I like how it looks. I like M81 Woodland a lot, so I don't have too many issues. The camo works pretty well for the area that we're in as well. I mean, for the winter, it's probably not going to be great because there's probably going to be a lot of snow for this trip we're going on, but you can fix that with a pack scrim or pack cover or something if you're that worried about it. Alright, whether or not I pick something like that up will be determined by how serious we take this trip. Usually the trips we do are less about like OPSEC and more about like LARPing and learning the skills that you need to be proficient in the woods. Alright, so might throw a pack scrim on it, might not. So as I mentioned, the main compartment of the pack is 60 liters, and then each of these little nut sacks on the side I believe are 10 liters. So these nut sacks are kind of the coolest part of the bag, but I'll get into that at the end. So the main pack, like I said, is 60 liters, pretty decent. I don't need a ton when it comes to winter or just in general. The only thing that I really needed the extra space for was for my sleep system that's behind me right now, or part of it. I'm old school. I still run the MSS sleep system because it's what's kept me warm all throughout growing up. I've had this bag for probably 10 years now, and I do have the other pieces. They're just back home in my home state, so I gotta grab them. But usually with the black bag and the bivy sack, I'm usually A-okay. This time I might stick my whoopee in there just to add another layer of insulation to it. And then obviously a thermarest as well, or some sort of sleep pad. But this takes up a decent amount of room. I mean, as I said before, I was able to get away with a 3-DAP on the last trips because I really only ran like a Ranger roll. So I would take my bivy bag, roll that up with a whoopee inside of it, and then that was it. And that would keep me warm, you know, into early fall without too many issues. So my favorite thing about this bag is if you think about how an Alice pack is, where the Alice pack is 3 nut sacks on the outside with one massive compartment on the inside, that's kind of how this is set up. Alright, I like having I like my main compartment to just be a big bucket, essentially. I would much rather organize it by using dry sacks or like drawstring bags to organize my stuff inside of there. Because for me, the main compartment usually just holds my, you know, sleep system and my shelter stuff. It doesn't really do too much more than that because I just don't feel like I need all that much. So what's kind of cool though is it does have quite a few pockets in it though. So it's got one on the inside of the flap here, alright, right here, and then it's got one you can access one on the back as well, and this is the top of the bag. So you can put like small stuff that you want to get to quickly in there as well. Alright, moving on to the inside, it does have a spot for a water bladder here, alright, so that's kind of cool if you choose to run a water bladder if it's warm enough to do so without the damn thing popping. And then these nut sacks, what's cool about these is, one, you can carry stuff underneath them, alright, like they have actual straps underneath them that draw, you know, right here. So that's kind of cool. Does allow you to add like a thermarest under there and stuff like that. But the part that I'm really excited about is both of these, obviously, like I said, come off. This video is a little unorganized because it's not scripted or anything, so bear with me. But opening, you know, getting these out like this, you'll notice there's straps on them, right? So what these straps effectively allow you to do, let's see how I set this up so I do this right. because I did it upside down last time, so I gotta find where the zipper is. So there's the zippers. There's the zipper. And then we want to make it so that these two straps are together. There we go. So you can effectively either A, run each of these individually, like a sling bag, which is kind of cool, or what I'm about to show you here is you can zip them up together, and they create basically what now becomes a 2-pocket 20-liter total capacity little assault pack. So what that allows you to do is run more essential gear in these things and then be able to grab them and dismount from your main pack. So in my context as someone who covers the medical side of things for our group, what's probably going to end up being in here are things that I don't necessarily want on the inside of my pack, but are things that I also don't want necessarily strapped down to my aid bag per se, or are not included in my March kit. So that would look like some sort of like just extended temperature management stuff, especially because we're going to be in the winter. Maybe some boo-boo stuff, some splinting supplies, and then hypothermia, like extra hypothermia stuff. I think I mentioned that with temperature management, and then a litter as well, because I've yet to find a good way to attach a litter to my person, unfortunately. So kind of a cool feature. This right here was kind of the coolest part to me, is that you can take these off entirely, like I said before as well. And now what you can do as well, I believe, is, yeah, you can zip these side panels together as well, like these extra zippers here, and then this essentially just becomes at this point a 60 liter Ruck. So in total you're getting about 80 liters of usable space with this thing. It's pretty cool. A big thing too is the pads. This is one of the reasons I wanted the bag, is because the pads are super nice, super adjustable. I don't know how much you can see here, but your full adjustability of height and stuff. Very thick lower lumbar, very thick waist, and then you have your typical kind of stretchy sternum strap here. So very nice bag. I mean, I think I paid $150 for this thing after shipping from Commando store. So very easy to find. This is like an unissued variation. The tags are in Dutch, which I think is kind of neat. The only thing that sucks is the water resistance in here. Like most military water resistance shit, just kind of crumbles. All right. So it's not super effective in that. I would still recommend, if you have clothes that you're putting in here, put them in some sort of other bag, because that shit, in my experience, will get on everything and make it sticky and gross. So just something to be aware of with that, I guess. It does have a ton of MOLLE on the front. It's got this like thicker handle and these large loops here that are kind of equivalent to like the straps or the loops that are on Alice bags for D-clips and stuff. So a lot of cool shit you can do with this bag. I think it's pretty worth it if you're looking for something budget-minded. I guess I would equate this to the Marine Corps rucksack that's about the same size, if you've ever seen things like LBVE or something, or IBVE. I don't fucking know. Too many acronyms, but it's pretty equivalent to that. It's just in my opinion, a sexier camo, and it's also not. It's also cool to me because it's Dutch. You know, it's something that I haven't seen a ton of. In fact, I didn't even really know this existed until I saw it scrolling through Commando store one day, and I was like, that fits the entire build that I need. So yeah, good bag. I'd recommend it, at least from what I see. I'll do an update, I guess, on it after the trip we do.